Hey guys, welcome to Mata Des, which is Japanese for a long way to go. My name is Wyatt and I'm a missionary heading to Japan. So I'm finally at the part of my mobilization journey where I'm shifting away from fundraising and shifting towards language learning. Language learning is going to be a big part of the next few years of my life, and mastering Japanese is going to be very much the main focus of the next stage of this mission. And so I wanted to share some of the things that I'm doing to get started in that process. Before we begin, however, I do want to encourage you guys to like and subscribe. Doing that helps the channel, and helping the channel helps the mission. Additionally, if you would like more in-depth updates about my missionary journey, you can find a link to subscribe to my newsletter down below. And moreover, if you feel called to contribute financially to what God is doing in Japan, you can find a link to my giving page down below as well. So learning Japanese is not easy. The American Foreign Service Institute, a school that the US government uses to teach American personnel when they are called to serve overseas, has ranked it as one of the most difficult languages for English speakers to learn. According to the Institute, it takes English speakers around a year and a half of intense study to become proficient in Japanese. This is as opposed to something like Spanish that only requires about half a year of intense study. The difficulty of learning the Japanese language essentially comes down to the fact that Japanese and English have very, very little in common. Essentially, the only thing that they share are some modern words that Japanese people have borrowed from English. Other than that, there's very little connection between the two languages. Additionally, the Japanese language specifically is very dependent on some specific Japanese cultural cues that are hard to understand unless you're living there in the country. On top of that, there's some other challenges that are particularly burdensome to English speakers. For example, Japanese has 3 different alphabets. There's hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And in order to engage in the Japanese language and to read Japanese media, I need to be fluent in all 3 of them. So I definitely have my work cut out for me, but it's not all bad. There are some things that are working in my favor as well. First, there's the fact that Japan has a massive cultural footprint in the West. It's not going to be difficult for me to find Japanese media that I can use to familiarize myself with the Japanese language as it's used in Japan. Secondly, while the Japanese language is very different from English, it actually has less sounds than the English language does. And so while mastering the language itself might be difficult, mastering the Japanese accent won't necessarily be that big of a challenge, because I won't need to learn any new sounds the way I might have to learn new sounds if I was learning Arabic. So what am I doing in order to learn this language? Well, a lot of my learning is going to revolve around this textbook. This is the Genki textbook, and it is the definitive guide for English speakers who are looking to learn Japanese. This provides a more traditional pathway to fluency, and more than likely when I enroll in language school in Japan, they're going to have me using this book. And so starting it now is an opportunity to get ahead on some of the studies that I will be doing when I get to Japan. The second tool that I'm using is a language learning app called Pimsleur. This is an app that is teaching me Japanese through phrase memorization. So instead of just learning lists of slightly related words, what it does is it presents new information in the form of phrases. And then it subtly changes those phrases, adding new words each time, so that I have a better kind of association in my mind for how these words work together. It's actually been very effective for me, and definitely one of my favorite of the 2 tools that I'm presenting here today. It sounds a little bit like this.
Imagine you're at a cafe in Tokyo. How would you order a coffee?
コーヒーお願いします。
So yeah, and then I just would repeat it. This app has actually been super helpful for me right now because it allows me to kind of practice Japanese conversation skills without having a Japanese conversation partner, which is kind of the best I can do right now. Finally, as part of the mobilization process, my sending organization is having me take a class on phonetics and general language learning techniques. You might be asking, well, why are they having you take a phonetics class? Why not just take a Japanese class while you're here? Well, the reality is that once I get to Japan, language learning is going to be my top priority. However, one of the problems is that there is no language class in the entire world that can make somebody fluent in the language that they're seeking to learn. Ultimately, language learning is something that the student has to take responsibility for. And so really the best thing that they can do is not just find ways to learn the language, but to develop a number of different skill sets that can help them learn the language so that they can master it in their own way. So yeah, that's what I have going on right now. I still have a long way to go, but luckily I've got a lot of really great tools that I can use to start out with, and I'm looking forward to keeping you guys updated along the way. Stay tuned for more videos, more to come. Yeah, see you guys next time.